Ooh. Yeah, so I've never really dated before. I have gone out with some people before my first relationship, but I never actually knew it was a date. I mean, there was high school dating, but did we really count that? Like middle school and high school dating? And then I got into my first relationship, which was a long distance relationship, and it started out long distance, like online and whatever, before we actually met in person. And so there was that, and then we broke up, and I immediately jumped into another relationship like a month or two later, and that was the worst 2 years of my entire dating life. And in some ways I wish I never had to deal with it, but both relationships were hearing, and the first guy actually started to learn ASL the same time that I did, and so that made him like the perfect person, but obviously that isn't enough. But he was the only person that actually took the time to learn ASL as much as he could, as much as we both could at that time, and he came with me to deaf events, and he ended up making sort of friends with my deaf friends as well, and we kind of explored that whole thing together. But my second ex, he couldn't be bothered to do any of that. He couldn't be bothered to learn more than like 5 signs in 2 years, and it was just never gonna work. And so him breaking up with me a second time was the best thing that ever happened. And then I had gone on like dates or hangouts, whatever, a few, but of course COVID started, so that made things a little bit more difficult. And the dating pool in North Carolina just wasn't too great, and so, you know, I'd been on the apps all these years, but it just, nothing ever really went anywhere. And I stopped talking to some of the people that I matched with and hung out with like once for one reason or another. And then when I finally decided that I was going to move to Omaha, and when I finally got the opportunity to move to Omaha, which has a bigger deaf community, but also a lot of people already like in relationships, and I haven't really been interested in anybody that is in the deaf community here that I've met. Not like that. But I also told myself I didn't want to like date once I moved here, because I wanted to figure myself out. This is the first time that I'm finally moving out of a crappy situation, out of a crappy child abusive household, whatever. So I just didn't really want to think about that. But then here I was on day 2 of officially being moved in, just on Tinder, because I didn't have, internet, and just browsing. And I went back and forth on this guy, and I was like, you know what, fine, let me just swipe. And we ended up matching, and 5 outings later, here we are. Hearing person, doesn't know ASL, knows a few signs from the past, but I don't know how it's gonna go. Obviously, I am old enough now at this point, and I've experienced the whole I don't want to learn ASL thing enough that I know that in the long run it just isn't gonna be something that I really want to do with. But for right now, I think it's just the first person I've ever consistently dated, and things are going well, just getting to know each other and stuff. And we shall see how that goes, because, again, I'm not expecting anybody to be fluent so quick. I'm not even fluent. But, as long as the effort is there, things like that. But, yeah, because this man is one of the most soft-spoken people ever, that even with my hearing aids in, I'm still just like, what did you say, though? So we'll see how it goes, but I'm not trying to take anything like so seriously now. Have some fun with it. Get to know each other. I like the guy, but I'm also hesitant for more reasons than one. But I'm trying to take it as it is, take the good stuff as it is, and you don't gotta rush into anything. But it is intimidating. I really do not like dating as a deaf person in a predominantly hearing world. it's a struggle. But we shall see.